Hello guys, it's Midlife Wanderings. I am out and about on errands today, and so I decided to do a little vlogging. So we're a little under 2 months before we retire, and about 7 or 8 months before we go back to the Philippines. So this morning while I was doing my personal devotion, I started to think, I have lived here in the States for 36 years, and in a way I have been assimilated to the Western culture. It's going to be a big adjustment once we get to the Philippines. So today I would like to talk about what to expect if you decide to move and live in the Philippines. In 2015 to 2018, my husband and I and our youngest son moved to the Philippines so I could be closer to my mom. She was at that time close to her 90s, and her caretaker suddenly died, so I wanted to go home and to be closer to her, which it's a miracle because my husband decided to go with me. And so we sold everything we have and then moved to the Philippines. So we lived there for 3 years. We bought a property and built a house. Well, I have a youngest brother who has a Down syndrome, and when with a person like that who needs constant care, and my mom being by herself without a caretaker, she was actually taking care of my youngest brother. He is now 52, I think. Yeah, he is 52 now. He's healthy, but he needs constant guidance and constant care because he can't do things by himself. So anyway, that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to go home and be with my mom, because of my youngest brother who was living with her. And I just can't think of my mom, who was close to her 90s at that time, taking care of my youngest brother by herself. So anyway, that's the story why in 2015 we uprooted everything and moved to the Philippines. When my mother passed on in 2017, we decided to come back to America, and we started all over again. Buying a house, furnishing a house. We moved back in 2018 after my mom's first death anniversary. So fast forward, we are here. JJ has enjoyed school. He is active in sports, and he's part of the band, and he's active at church with his youth group. And then we're gonna uproot again and move back to the Philippines. After Typhoon Odette in 2021, I believe. Yeah, in 2021, JJ and I went back to the Philippines to fix our house because the gables, both of the gables, were destroyed by that typhoon. So we went back home and fixed that. And when it was time to come back to America, I get anxious. I get stressed out. You know, it's just, there's just anxiety of thinking that I'm gonna come back to America. That's how I feel, you know, back then when I go visit my country. When I go and visit the Philippines, coming back here in America makes me sad and anxious and stressed out. I do not know why, but there's something about thinking that I'm coming back to America makes me anxious and sad. So after we fixed the house, of course we had to come back to America. I wasn't so happy about the thought of coming back. So I was thinking that maybe it would be another 3, 4, 5 years before I could, you know, go back and visit again. And so that makes me really, really sad. Anyway, so we came back. Unbeknownst to me, my husband has decided that he's going to retire this year and we are gonna go move to the Philippines. That was not, I mean, that I wasn't ready for that, but you know, that's what he told me when we came back. And so I was like, yay, we are going back. Which is what I really wanted. But then this morning I was thinking, you know, it would be different going back and living in the Philippines. I have so many things that I am accustomed to anymore here in America, and it would be a different dynamics over in the Philippines. For example, the time, I don't know, it's like here in America. Okay, so here in America you have like a book that you go by, you know, like your schedule. At this particular time I have to be there, and then I need to go, and then I need to be in another place at this time, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Like today I need to be going to the bank after I drop JJ off at school, and then, you know, things like that. It's not like that in the Philippines. It's like, time is like, yeah, whatever, you know. When I first went back to the Philippines for the first time after coming here, I was having so much trouble adjusting to the attitude about time and schedules that I just lost it. Afterwards, when I thought about it, I was like, just chill, just relax, you know. Because one time I was over there with my family and we were planning to go to the province to visit my oldest sister's place, but I need to do something first before we could do that. And so I was like, well, how about let me do this first, and then maybe we can go later. So the next day it was like I was waiting and waiting because I wanted to be somewhere at a particular time. But then my brother-in-law, he knows that I was planning to go somewhere, but he was just like not in a hurry. And here I was like, let's go so I can do this and we could go there. And you know, if I could drive in Manila, which is another issue in the Philippines, even in the province, if I could drive, I would have driven by myself and got there wherever I needed to be when I need it to be. But I dare not drive over there. There is no way I'm gonna drive there. My sister had vehicles that one of them I could use anytime I want to, but I had to be reliant on my brother-in-law and my nephews to take me wherever I needed to go, because driving in Manila is crazy and very dangerous. So I do not want to drive. And so anyway, I wasn't happy because I didn't get to do my errand at the particular time that I wanted it to be done. But you know what? We made it to my sister's place and had fun. And so after that experience, I told myself, no more American schedules, no more American time. You just go with the flow and enjoy. And enjoy your family or your friend. Okay, so that's one thing that I need to adjust, that I need to get used to. Another thing is, this is my experience when we lived there for 3 years. You become the neighborhood's ATM. What I mean by that is, almost every day a neighbor would come by to borrow money. You know, I'm the kind of person who has trouble saying no, and so during the first several months I was like, okay, you know, just pay me back. And you know, that's how it went. One day we were pulling out of our driveway and this lady in bicycle blocked us, only because she wanted to stop the car so she can talk to me, so she can borrow money. Well, my husband finally said, you should not do that. He said, we are not the community ATM. People cannot just drop by anytime and ask for money. And so I have to master the art of saying no. And so that's one of the things that you have to get used to when you are in the Philippines. Another thing is, so in the Philippines, when you buy a property, this is what Filipinos do. You buy a property and you put a fence to it right away. Before you build a house, you put a fence around your property. So that's what I wanted to do, and my husband said, no, we're not gonna do that. He's not used to fence around his property here. So I was like, okay, you'll find out later. So anyway, so we built our house and then we moved in. And then he found out that neighbors can just come in to your door, and if nobody answers the door, they'll go around and peek on the windows. So that incident, I mean, there was several times that happens. And so I told my husband, you know, that is the reason why I want to build a fence before we build the house, because Filipinos do not care about, you know, privacy and that kind of stuff. Your house is open without fence, they'll come knock on your door, and if you don't answer the door, they'll come around, look for a window where they can peek in and, you know, start talking or calling you. So anyway, that is one thing that we're gonna have to get used to. So we have put some fencing around our property except for the front where it is just a temporary one, because I'm thinking when we get there, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to have a concrete fencing in the front and a gate for our driveway. So that's one thing that you have to think about when you go to the Philippines and build a house. Fencing first. Let's see, another thing that you have to get used to is there's a lot of dogs in the neighborhood, and sometimes there are nights that they would start barking. It will bother you. After 3 years in the Philippines, we got used to it. And then there's chickens early morning. I think they start at 1 o'clock in the morning. We hear chicken crowing from way far. Once you hear the first crow, the others would like follow suit and start crowing. So it's like a wave of crowing, and then it goes, you know, nearer and closer to you, and then farther down. It's so funny because between Michael and me, we make we make it a joke at 2 o'clock in the morning. We start hearing our neighborhood roosters crowing, and so sometimes we think we hear the crow saying, "Where's the bathroom?" So we just, you know, we just kind of laugh about it. That's how we joke about chicken crows. I mean rooster crows. But that's the way it is over there. So you just have to learn to live with it. Fortunately for us, we don't live like close to the highway, so we really have a quiet area. When JJ and I were there in 2021, we have a neighbor. He's a high school teacher who invites his co-teachers on some occasions, and they would be singing karaoke well into the night. When we were there in 2015, 2018, you know, there was nothing of that sort, but things have changed, so I guess we have to get used to that karaoke singing. And there's another neighbor that does karaoke singing too, so there's two of them. There are other stuff I need to get used to when we move there, but I thought I'd share with you guys some of the things that might bother you or might annoy you. You find annoying when you move and live in the Philippines, but that's just the way it is. Or here's another one, the lines. When you are in the Philippines, you have to bring a lot of your patience, because like if you are going to transact business anywhere, you'll end up taking almost all day to get one thing done. The line is long, but we got used to it, and so that's one thing that we had to be prepared when we moved there. Other than that, I'm excited to think that I'm gonna go back and live there. I miss the fresh seafoods and the fresh veggies, fresh yummy fruits, and yes, I miss my neighbors. And Then I can see my family anytime I want. So that's it, guys. I thank you for watching. This is Midlife Wanderings again. I'll see you on my next vlog. Bye.